the man need to love you a little more. Period. He need to love you a little more than you love him, because one thing about it, two things for sure, when a black woman love a man, it be like otherworldly. So if he love you a little more than that, symbiosis. He got to love you a little more. If you putting in work on day 10 of knowing each other, girl, leave him today. You don't put in work until 2 years in. I'm just kidding.
Of a marriage? Are you kidding?
Calling Jimmy John's got them shooters gonna deliver.
What's up, y'all? It's LYSH, and welcome to Musings and Mugs with your host. I'm the shooter that makes it deep. Tonight, got my shooter with me. Hi, Shoo.
Hey, girl.
So tonight we're doing something different. And we're gonna dive in with an episode 2 about Love Island and all things rooting for everybody black. Still, period. But first, show everybody your mug. What's the story behind the mug?
My younger cousin went to New York and she came back and gave me this mug. Shout out to Bethany.
See, my shooter came to my home and she gave me this mug. Shout out to her. If you didn't know, shooters love coffee. So we want Eminem to be a very cozy conversation on whatever the devil we feel like talking about. That's just how that's gonna go. So we appreciate you being here. And tonight, like I said, we're getting into Love Island. We're getting into rooting for everybody black. Still. All right. So first of all, we, the shooters, got into watching Love Island, watching season 6. I think we said this last episode. Season 7 has had us on a roller coaster. But we got a couple things that we want to kind of pull out today. Again, to make it deep, right? So first of all, I want to talk about the casting. What did you think about the way black people were represented and where the way black culture was represented in selection of the cast?
I think production did a good job of listening to the culture when it came to casting. We got 2 dark skinned beauties as day 1 cast members. One of them graduated from Tuskegee. That's amazing. And
Period.
the other one is she's a dark skinned beauty, but she's also cultured. She's from Miami. She's Haitian. She is a little spicy, but she's also very sweet. We have Ace, who is from Watts, California. Very much cultured. Who else do we have? We have Taylor, who's a country boy. I thought the culture was represented well as far as casting goes from day 1. And then, of course, when we got into bombshells and stuff, I felt they were kind of lacking at first. But then we got Jalen, who's from Sparta, Georgia. Shout out to him. We got Coco, who is a beauty. Clark. Now, I will say I don't remember all the Casa boys' names, but we had some skin folk in Casa as well. We had Chris. Was his name TJ? No, his name wasn't TJ. What's his name?
It was JD.
Yes. We had JD. I thought they did a good job of casting skin folk. And also people of color. Andrina's beautiful. Huda's beautiful. I don't think they're the only people of color on there, but
Can't forget our girl Maya.
Amaya. I love Amaya.
Amaya, Sierra.
Well, Sierra. Yeah, say what you want. I love Amaya. And yeah, as far as casting goes, that was the question. Very nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think they picked solid people, and I think they picked people that stayed true to the culture even on the screen. So that's kind of where I want to go next, just to talk about friendships, who clicked up in the island or on the island, And honestly, like, what is it? What is it about Black culture that just binds us together? Like, what? How would you put that into words?
What is it about Black culture that binds us together? We just Black. See, Serena said it in season 6 when Janae walked in. The first thing she said to her was, "Girl, I've been looking for you." It's just one of those things. I think we said it on the first, if not the first, the second episode of All Things Lit. Black culture is just one of those things. It's so powerful to where if you're in the club, you know. If you aren't in the club, you're slightly unfortunate. Like, if you know, you know. And when you get around your people, you just feel like you're home. And I think this cast was very fortunate enough to keep looking at the, I don't know if they come upstairs or what, but keep looking at the entrance to the villa and continuously being like, "Oop, that's home. Oop, that's home." So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that home is a strong word to use right there, an appropriate word to use right there. There's a safety that comes with that. I think, especially when you know you on a reality TV show, so whether you do everything dress right, dress how your mama raised you to, or not, you know you're gonna come under scrutiny because people just like that. Some people gonna rock with you, some people are not. You away from home for X amount of time. I think they be gone for what, like 6 weeks. No phone, no none of your own community, but to see somebody come in who is again skin folk, that is like I mean, it's an immediate connection. Like we already feel like family, and I thought we saw that displayed just as well on this season. Like clearly, Alondra and Shelly, they got together as friends quickly. Ace and Taylor got together as friends quickly. Um, and Alondra and Shelly had a very early on Black moment that I literally live for, where they talk about Ace exploring and Shelly like, this man think he Dora the Explorer, and they kind of had that little banter, that little back and forth right quick that you only gonna see at the cookout at your grandma's house. This how you and your cousins talk. Me and my brothers, me and my right. So love that, ate it up, and I'm glad they left that on TV. So naturally we see, I think, well, okay, that's a part of Love Island, that there be friends on the island. People love putting out there that it ain't Friendship Island, whatever. But it kind of is.
But it kind of is, because a lot of the friendships last longer than any of the romantic relationships.
Bing. Clock it. Literally, a lot of the friendships last longer than the relationships. And honestly, they be quick to be, I love you. And maybe that's just a thing. But I was peeping that we say I love you quickly to our friends. Like, we just, I don't know. We don't judge that. We don't question it. We just allow ourselves to say I love you. And I feel like we mean it too whenever our friends are involved. But them romantic connections, it take folks forever just to say I want to close off. And that's real life and the villa, real talk. But so tell me what you thought about the couplings, like who ended up with who in the beginning, and like how strong they were or weren't.
From the beginning, I never really believed that Ace, I mean, no. Well, the Ace and Yulissa thing, I think Ace was blown to be coupled up with her. That's just me speaking objectively. Um, no shade to Yulissa. I never really bought into the Shelly really likes Austin. I think that she thought he was cool. But I think she wanted to be coupled up with Ace. And I mean, when you got your eyes on someone else, it's not even that easy to like another person. And yeah, so I thought they were good friends, but I was right along with America, annoyed that Ace and Shelly seemed to keep missing each other. Um, Nick and Atlanta, I mean, Lord. I'm acting like America with this Nick and Alandria thing. Taylor and Alandria, I did not buy it from the point that he said to Ace, if the physical attraction is there, the physical attraction is there. If it's not, it's not. I didn't like that he said that in that episode, and I didn't like that she brought up the physical intimacy to him. Like she wanted more of it. I felt like at the point that she brought it up, I felt like she liked him, but he didn't like her, which I thought was crazy because she was beautiful. Then at some point he started saying things in his confessionals that I'm a person who I kind of take your word for it, and he was saying I like her, and so you like her. I've never felt this before, so you never felt it before. But it became very clear when Casa happened that he never really liked Alandria like that, uh, because he didn't have to tell me in the confessional that he liked Clark. I just kind of knew it. So, in retrospect, that connection, I wish it hadn't gone on as long as it did.
Facts. I think that for me, with Ace and Shelly, it was given kind of like a God wink, like they ended up in the villa together from, having met each other in the real world, and now y'all both on Love Island. That's kind of crazy. And I think they were feeling that too. So I was with that. I felt that connection, and I wanted it to be a thing. However, Ace ended up single for a minute because Yulissa got sent home. Shelly ends up with Austin. Never, just like you, never bought into Shelly with Austin. That was never gonna fly for a lot of reasons, but I never felt it. Like, they cool, they friends, they get along fine, but there was never, to me, a romantic spark whatsoever. So that always had an expiration date, in my opinion. Taylor and Alondria, and we've had some conversations about this. Have I ever believed in Taylor and Alondria?
She has never believed in Taylor and Alandria, and I was over here telling her that they telling you how they feel. Believe them. Which I'm still gonna say, Alandria like him. He don't like her.
Alondria likes him.
She never bought into it, and I wanted her to just not feel like they were liars. So.
And I believe Alondria. I really do. However, I never believed it from Taylor. I never did. And to Shoota's point, you should be able to believe something that somebody say. If you're going to open your mouth and share it, it should be dripped in truth. But the thing about reality TV, and we want to talk a little bit more about that later, but they in like an alternate reality right now. Like, it's just Alandria. It's Alandria or nobody. And I feel like Taylor always treated her like it was her or nobody. Like, he said too much to me in the beginning that gave, I'm not attracted to her. And then he did too much for me in the beginning that said, I'll leave her vulnerable if I want to. Like, and this is relevant because we're going to talk a little bit more about this later on, because last night's episode was some fool mess. But nonetheless, he tried to couple up with Sierra after 5 minutes of conversation. That
I
happened.
would say that at some point I allowed myself to forget that Taylor also stood up. Like, I didn't remember
Mm-hmm.
stood up. So I wasn't factoring that into my logic of him liking the girl.
And I think
So
too,
at some point I kind of forgot.
that a little bit of that had to do with how he kind of defended himself with that, because Alondria kissed Ace in the challenge before that. It was the blindfold challenge, and she kissed somebody, and it was apparent that he kind of felt some type of way that she did, but he kind of tried to throw it, and I ain't like how he did that, to be honest, but he tried to throw it back in her face, like, you was just kissing somebody last night. How you gonna be mad about me standing up to couple up? The difference for this show has always been coupling up with another person leaves your person vulnerable. So if you feel to like a certain way to the point that you want to be coupled up with somebody else, it's kind of a slap in the face. Like, that's just how I see it. I can understand him feeling some type of way about her kissing Ace, just because he felt like he was friends with Ace and they coupled up and whatever. But to couple up with somebody else after 5 minutes is a lot. That's a lot.
And it's especially a lot for Taylor because I think they did chat. Like, she pulled everybody, but Taylor
What
and
you up there for?
Taylor and Sierra did not connect. They didn't show us a place where they connected, where he even had an inkling. Like, she might choose me. Like, we didn't see that. Or I didn't see that. I don't know. It was wild. Him standing up it was outlandish.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And Alondria, she let it be known then. Like, we saw the first of her, like, I don't know, she was offended for sure. And we saw the first of her, like, energy toward that. How you gonna switch up on me vibe? I think right there. But not to get too far into them right now. What we've gotten into so far, yes, we agree with the Ace and Shelly couple up when it finally happened. It took forever, but good God. When it happened, we was all for it. Taylor and Alondria, I wasn't in it. Shu was for a minute, but we did trust. I would say we both trusted Alondria liking him at some point. And when do you think that happened? Like, when do you feel like she was like bought in with Taylor?
I think that from the beginning she bought into the idea of him because before she saw him, she stated she loves country men. That's her thing. And he walked in with a cowboy hat, skipping. Honestly, if you go back and rewind to him walking in, that boy is silly. He walked into that villa skipping. Have y'all noticed if you get on the Love Island app and they ask you different questions in the polls, and it'll be like ship it or skip it, all the skip its have a picture of Taylor. It's because he walked in that villa. He skipped in that villa very much sillily. I think he skipped in there with that cowboy hat, so it's like country boy. Uh, that's where I want to put my energy into getting to know the country boy. And she even says little things because some people, we're from Georgia. We're both pretty country. Shoota is from a more rural. I never can say that word. Rural area than I am, but we all country, and some people from the country like being in the country. I laughed when she said she just used to living in the country, blah, blah, blah. Then that girl talking about she moved to Texas. Like, Texas ain't country, too. I mean, I live in Texas now, but I was like, she really a country girl. Because, girl, shut up. Like, she's a small town country girl. And I love it. I love it. I really do. But some people just be kind of drawn to that. And I think that cowboy hat did something for her in that home feeling like he's going to be the person that I enjoy talking to the most because he's like me. So I think that she kind of invested in that. And women are loyal. You be saying that too. Women are kind of loyal in their thinking. And so even if she wasn't just like, oh, he's the finest man on the planet and he's just she kind of invested in him from the beginning because of that idea of the country man. And then at the point that they're having conversations and they're talking, I guess she's enjoying the conversations. And so an attachment grew there, and she was never willing to leave him vulnerable for sure. The question was when did she start liking him? I think that she invested in him early because of the country thing, and I think as they continued to sleep in the same bed, wake up talking to each other, just we know they'd be there 24 hours a day, be around the villa talking to each other. That's just she started to like him, and it happens. I mean, you spend time with people, you get invested in spending time with them. That's just who you want to be with. So I
Yeah.
don't know if it went from just pure investment to like, but at some point I felt like she do like him. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah, I think that you make a valid point too that speaks to what I was saying before about reality TV, and now I don't even remember if I finished my thought. But you are in this alternate reality, and there are only a few options. And they also have a dynamic for this show that you don't get a break. Like, you don't get a break from the cameras, one. You don't really get any time to yourself for real. Like, you sleep in the bed with your person. You in a villa with a pool. Like, and really, when I keep looking at the villa, like, you know how they do that drone view at the beginning of the episodes? It's like, it really ain't nothing in there but a couple places to talk and a pool and their bedrooms and the makeup area. That's what they show us. The kitchen, the makeup area, the bedroom. And I said bedrooms, but it's just one. You can't even sleep by yourself. You can't have 5 seconds to yourself. And the cameras are all over everywhere. Point is, in bringing that up, it's like when you're in there and those are the options that you have, and this is the way that they're trying to force y'all to bond. I think you kind of come to a point where you don't have a choice but to bond. But I was also gonna ask you, do you feel like she was a victim to the experience and how much it seems like she likes Taylor? Or do you feel like she would have lived, and this is a lot to say actually, because like you said, women are loyal, especially black women. Like, I feel like if they would have connected and stayed connected, she probably would have locked in outside regardless. But ultimately, do you feel like from what we saw of their connecting, that she was just a victim to the experience in that he's here, I'm gonna commit to him?
I think she was somewhat of a victim to the experience. That's what I was saying the other day when I don't remember at what was happening at what point, but what were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about how I did not care for Iris carrying when it came to Sierra, and we were talking about the Iris thing, talking to Sierra that day. And I think you were saying that in the real world, this would be this, but when it comes to that villa world, you just can't. The same rules don't apply because of what you just said. It's an alternate reality, and it's not even the same alternate reality as a Love Is Blind, because when Love Is Blind is happening, you know when they're filming. Season 1, in their book, Lauren and Cameron, they told us that that place that they used to commune, they didn't even actually sleep there that season. So we know when we're filming, and we're able to go to bed and just be ourselves, say what we want to the friends that we've made during this process and all those things. But Love Island is literally the Hunger Games. It's literally the Truman Show. If you ever seen the Truman Show, Truman don't know that he got a camera in his dashboard, so they watch him as he drives to work every day. He don't know that it's a camera in his bathroom mirror, so when he brushing his teeth, they looking at him. It's a camera over his bed. It's a camera at his job, in his desk, in his cup holder. Like, every second, and even with same thing with the Hunger Games, every second that you're in there, the Capitol's watching. So you never get a second to breathe in there. And so you kind of always on. And I think about how I might be in that process. I'm not a vulnerable person, so I would probably go crazy in a place like the Villa, because I would always try to be on. Like, I would never be able to let my guard down because I don't know what they're going to put on the TV. And so with Alandria and that Taylor thing, I think that this season, and I haven't watched seasons before season 6, so I don't know. But I think this season, more than last season, we're more concerned with how things are looking to the public. And so I do think she's loyal, but I also think she was thinking about how it would look if she does certain things. Like, I just need to be locked in. I think she was invested. I think she was attracted to his countryside. I think as they talked, she began to like him. But she really did kind of in a different way than Huda. Because Huda wanted to be closed off. And I mean, we're not talking about Huda right now. But I think in her own way, she was a little closed off to the process once she attached herself to Taylor because she liked him. She was growing accustomed to his company. And also, I need to not be in here looking like, a certain thing. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I feel like to even add context to what you're saying, like that becomes more, and I'm struggling to think, like, to consider whether this is just Love Island reality or if this is a black woman struggle or a woman struggle. Honestly, it could go beyond just us. But there was the language that she used later, talking about how whenever Clark was now, a person who could potentially bust them up, talking about the work she put in, talking about how she not finna let, how it doesn't really, make sense to her, even holding on to Taylor as the idea, like as this person who she has a connection with, or even the strongest connection with, post him not engaging her, not talking to her. And even with us seeing the difference between how he engages with this other woman and how he engaged with her, the whole while she was just talking about that connection, that connection, that connection, the work she put in, the time she put in, how she doing her big one, even down to leaving the picture in his trunk, or like, in the area right at the foot of his bed, because she was trying to win him over. And it's like a little bit of that I feel like may have been Love Island-ish. But also, I want to get into, and we'll get to that. It's not my next point, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But I want to think about and talk about if that's just a woman issue all around, and it just maybe was emphasized with the predicament of being in Love Island. Like, do other women have that same kind of thing where we ignore the signs and put the work in?
I think that I do think that it's like a estrogen related issue.
Mm.
Uh,
I know where you're going with that. It ain't a me issue.
because one thing about it, love me or leave me alone. um,
Two things for sure.
I,
Bookie.
I
Bookie
do
butt.
think it's a estrogen related issue, meaning I'm
Some
not
women.
gonna. It's a thing that you can either lean into it or you cannot. Because, I mean, with me, if we locked in, ain't no switching up. And if you locked in with me, you literally have the best life ever. So, but it do take a lot to be locked in because I don't trust people, and so uh, I can't be putting in the work with everybody. But I do think that it is a thing with women that they feel the need to lock in, and I do think that it is time for women to stop believing that that's gonna do anything because people put in work different ways. Some people in the villa put in work by going ahead and having sex, but the truth is, once the act of sex is finished, anything can happen the next day. Like, that's not gonna make the man not hurt your feelings. So yeah, I think I think it can be a bit of a woman issue, and I think it's time for us to stop doing it. And because I mean, look at Alandria. She said she put the work in, she did all this stuff, and she did. And Alandria is beautiful. Let me just say, she's like a masterpiece of a woman. I love her nose. I love her cheekbones. Her body is sickening. Like, she's great. And somebody needs to appreciate the woman that she is. Period. What did Clark say when Clark just said it. she never initiated anything when it came to him. And she didn't really elaborate on that, but sometimes you can just feel what a person is saying. And what she was saying is that Alandria had to try a lot to get his affection, and I didn't do nothing. Mm-hmm. Like she didn't have to do nothing to get his affection because he just wanted her. Mm-hmm. Period. And so, when a man wants you, he wants you. And he's going to show that. And you shouldn't, I'm not saying you shouldn't have to put work in, because all relationships are work, but it should definitely be reciprocal. Yeah. And you are not fighting. One thing I do agree with, Shelly said, I'm the prize here. You are. Know that. And move like that. But
the first person that needs to appreciate Alondria for who she is and respect her for the baddie that she is Alondria, for sure. But yeah, I don't want to talk about them or that dynamic too deep just yet. It's one more thing that I want us to talk about that I feel like is the go deeper point. So we're talking about Black people, Black love, and how it is displayed on TV, particularly reality TV. And even more particular on Love Island, baby. But yeah, so last night is going to be the kicker for this conversation. Last night, we agree, was a fool. It was just a fool mess. Like, it was a whole mess. And I think I would even add in the night before, kind of kicked it off and was starting with the mess. And then last night, explosion, as Major Payne said, explosion. So you mentioned it before, but how is this like the Hunger Games? What role does perception play in what we're seeing? And then when I want us to get into what we saw with the Black participants, like what the dilemmas have been over the last couple episodes, particularly with Ace and Shelley and with the Alandria Clark Taylor situation. And I know that was like a 3-part question, so let's back it up. Let's first talk about the Hunger Games being Love Island and what role perception plays with this experience.
How is Love Island like the Hunger Games? So I feel like if you only watch the Hunger Games movies, you probably don't know for real, but those books really bring you into the arena. And with this season specifically, I think there are parallels between this is a All Things Lit episode. I think there are parallels between the way that Katniss moves in the arena and the way that these contestants, cast members, are moving. She would do, like in the first book, she did something where she was actually scared, but I think Katniss was fighting with someone, and they threw a knife, and it got into her backpack. Now that could have been her life. She could have died just then. She was scared, but she decided in her head, I need to play this up for the audience so I can get some sponsors. So she like smiled and said, "Thanks for the knife." Like, Katniss was always thinking about what they were thinking on the outside so that she could get what she needed on the inside. She was always thinking about the public's perception, and there was at no point did she know that cameras are always on her, but she doesn't know when they'll be shown. But still in her head, as she's going through the Hunger Games, she's thinking this is a moment where the camera is on me. Or there'll be another moment where she hears something somewhere else and she knows that that's a moment where the camera is not on her, so she can cry real quick. Like, she was always thinking about outside, and rightfully so, because at that point we playing with her life. She need to we need to be as perceptive as we can. But similarly with this season, they talk a lot about America, and they didn't do that a lot in they talk a lot about America from the first, and honestly, it's probably this season started going downhill for America. It started going downhill for me when the Ace picked Amaya. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. It made me mad. I think for America, it started going downhill. Like people started getting like mad when after we voted for the first time and they were trying their darndest to figure out why we voted the way we did, and then conversations were happening, and the end of that saga was Jeremiah going home, and their reasoning being America knew something we didn't. And the thing, and we can say so many things. We can, because I say y'all shouldn't be worried about America, y'all should be worried about this, but the truth is, you in there with nothing to do but think about what America's thinking. Like, they are in there think about what we do in 24 hours. We do all kind of stuff. Hopefully nobody's watching me. Because I talk to myself. I sing terribly. Like, I do all kind of stuff. But they are in that villa being watched 24 hours a day. And if you are being watched, think about what you do when you know you're being watched. They are in there living for 24 hours, but trying to live a little cute because I don't know what's going to be shown. And so, and they show on the After Sun like random moments where they're teaching each other a TikTok that they might get to post when they get on the outside, or playing ping pong, or randomly talking about evolution. Like, they just find ways to fill their time. And I can only think that some of that time is spent thinking about what America is thinking, because that's who's watching, that's who's voting. They do have a say in my time here. And so I think you said, how is it like the Hunger Games, and what role does perception play? It plays a huge role when it comes to them. And then when it comes to us, it's also flipped, because I feel like with our perception of things, I think as a whole, we got to be a little wiser, because with perception, to be able to have an opinion, a valid opinion, you have to have context. And we lack a lot of context. And that is one thing that the Islanders have a one-up on us on. They know everything that's happening because it's just happening. We're watching 60 seconds of their last 2 days together. And so, sometimes we judge different things that we don't really know. We don't know everything about, because they put music over people's words. They do montages when really, no, you need to keep the camera over there and let us hear what they were saying. So I think perception plays a huge role, and it's unfair a little bit, because America's perception is always going to be skewed, because it's not the Truman Show. The Truman Show has its own network, and it plays 24 hours a day. We follow Truman all day. Love Island doesn't come on Wednesdays. It doesn't come on Saturdays. And we only get an hour when they've been living for 2 days. We get an hour and that's been 2 days edited into an hour. So on our end, our perception plays a role in how they live in the villa, because we do get to vote, but our perception will always be skewed. And then their perception, they're living the life. They know what's happening, but then again, they don't, because you can't be everywhere at once. But they also have that thing of thinking about what we think. So I don't know if I answered the question.
No, I think you did. I mean, the key point of the Hunger Games was survive. And they are in there processing, and they are very sensitive to the fact that they being recorded. In some, I guess, just we could tell from some conversations that they have, like, yeah, we know we inside of a game. But yeah, I feel like they all in there trying to survive. Even whenever they employ the Love Island chat, the Love Island speak. Can I pull you for a chat? Just have a chat with her. I don't know, just like a lot of little things that like fit with the structure of the show. I just feel like that's all a part of just like how Katniss would have to run to the middle of the like the first scene of the Hunger Games to grab her supply sack before she go off, and like it just goes with the system. Like I don't know, there are so
Because
many.
she got the knife in
Right,
that thing.
right, right. There are so many things that just suggest. I feel like even sometimes they're very careful with what they say, which I agree with. Be wise, govern yourself appropriately. Um, Sometimes I feel like they are calculated really in what they say when it comes to disputes and whatnot, because they know people are watching, and that's fine. Like that's okay. That's okay. When we start talking about perception, though, I think that's what gets me frustrated, and that is kind of what is going to elevate this conversation even, because the edits tell a story. Period. So you can chop and screw whatever you want over 48 hours worth of time. And if the narrative was here at A, and you want to flip that mother for C to Z, you can do that if you're the producer, if you are the editor, right? If you're the person who is really in control, if you're the person who is really in control of the story. And we have seen some things that are disturbing, irritating, really, when it comes to how the edits are done, particularly with this season, because it is so dramatic. Like there is a problem every other day, and it feels like, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, but it feels like there are some people who are cushioned in the edits, and there are some people who are targeted in the edits. That's what it feels like to me, and I would love to hear your thoughts. And that also adds to how it's the Hunger Games. Like Katniss wouldn't survive if she didn't have the support of the people. You know what I mean? Like they got to be on your team. But at least in the Hunger Games, they was getting to watch it broadcasted hour to hour, day by day.
But even with that though, I don't think you read Haymitch's book. But in Haymitch's Hunger Games, he basically did what Katniss did in her second Hunger Games before she did it. And because of that, his family got killed. So sad. Oh my god. Yeah, I love Hunger Games. And I love Haymitch. But anyway, when you fast forward all these years, Katniss is in the Hunger Games, and the very first book, she says, and I love writers so much, because the same way we talk about how J.K. Rowling came up with all this stuff, the Hunger Games, she had to be thinking about the book that she just wrote to, anyway, first book, Katniss is giving us the rundown of the Hunger Games. And basically, District 12, where she lives, she says is synonymous with corpse because people don't really win. And she gets to talking about the fact that only 2 victors have ever come out of 12. One from the Quarter Quell, and then the other one that she's dead. We don't talk about her. So, because we don't really know nothing about her. They don't really know much about the first Quarter Quell, which is when Haymitch won. They don't really show that one on TV, and when they do, it's very chopped and screwed, and what actually happened is not shown. Katniss them did not know what happened in his Hunger Games until they knew. Even when they in the book watched his Hunger Games, when they were going to the Capitol, that was an edited video. They switched his Hunger Games up so much to make it a different story, and it wasn't that. And yes, that is what they do with Love Island. They can say, Ace can be sitting in there saying, me and Shelly just tried a new brand of orange juice and I hate it. By the time it get to us, the doggone episode say, I hate Shelly. He didn't say that. But I want y'all to know that they This show cuts and pastes, and I've studied it. I'm not like a nerd like with math and stuff, but I'm a nerd with stuff I enjoy, and media is one of those things. I have studied the way that they cut and paste those first looks and how they compare to what actually happens in the episode, and they will take the second word you say and put it in front of the first word you say just because that one switch changes the whole thing. And if they do that with the first looks, you can't be so naive to think that they don't do that in the show. Yes, the episodes, the edits tell a story, and they tell the story that production wants to tell. Make absolutely no mistake about it. And you truly have to be a, I'm not going to say a special kind of person because everybody's special in their own way, but you have to crack a code that is very much existent to break through the storytelling. We didn't get much of Serena and Cordell last season, but we loved them anyway because every time we did get them, it was good. Every time we did get them, it was real, and they were just they were it for us, you know. And but they cracked the code just being themselves, and that's what happened with them. In this season, we don't have too many code crackers, and they are telling. You asked me how I think they're protecting certain people in their edits. They're being nicer to certain people. They definitely are now. And it's a shift. And I've been talking about the shift since the beginning. When it comes to the Islanders, there's a shift that needs to happen when you go from exploring to locked in. You don't want to be locked in too soon. That's going to make America feel like you trying to steal their money. But you don't need to continue to want to explore past Costa because what are you even doing here? You don't want love. You just want to play. And so this season, when it came to productions, storytelling, there was a shift in it. They showed us a lot of the Huda crash outs. And it could be because of how, if we'll remember, a lot of us have forgotten how a lot of people felt during that time, but people were not liking the way she was acting on that show. And it went way too far. And me and Shooter did not agree with finding her the father of her child. We did not agree with posting her daughter on all these different blogs and all of that stuff. That's crazy. First of all, the only person in that family who signed up to be on Love Island is Huda. That's the only face that needs to be out there. Didn't agree with any of that stuff. And I think once that happened, production on After Sun, they had Ariana Madix speak to the people and say, stop doing crazy stuff. And then they did the little picture thing about no bullying, cyberbullying, all that stuff. And from that point, they decided to tell a different story. They decided to grant Huda her redemption arc. And I have so many feelings about that I probably am just not, we don't have time for. But they decided to grant Huda a redemption arc. But just like, did y'all watch Wicked? Villains bring America together. Villains bring Oz together. Like, you need a villain. Somebody got to be wicked. And so that has switched from, and you know what? They did not succeed in pushing on us the black girl, the angry black girl narrative last year with Serena. They didn't succeed. Honey, claps to production because they said in B. Simone's voice, let's try this again. They said we gonna do it, and they've done it, and they've done their big one with it because America hates Shelly, America hates Alandria, America hates everybody black at this point, and it's because they made a shift from showing all of Huda's crash outs to granting her her redemption arc, but we needed a new villain, and now we have 5. It's crazy.
They gave the villain role to Shelly. They gave the villain role to Alondra. They gave the villain role to Ace. And I'm gonna get to Taylor later, cause I mean a little bit of him done earned his, but they gave it
I'm
to
not
him.
happy with Taylor either.
I'm not happy. Not happy, Bob. um, but no, that's literally you summed it up like weighty. Um, when they get behind the scenes and they start chopping and screwing stuff, and we literally can watch it and see how words are being said that do not match the picture that is portrayed on the screen. Like they want us to feel and know what they want us to feel and know. And just to bring that into perspective, like I
Double
have my
down on
thoughts. Go
double
ahead.
down on so that everybody can just know. Get it in your head. This needs to be clipped as a short. When you be looking at that camera, when we be looking at this show, and it be music playing and no words, and then Shelly's face is like this, and then Ace's face is like this, and then Austin's face is like this. Something's being said there that we don't know about. Y'all, don't forget when Rob clarified when he was doing like this, when they came back from Casa and Serena was going off, and we were mad at him because we thought that he was trying to act like Serena, what she was saying wasn't valid. But him, Miguel, and Cordell were trying to maintain serious expressions and not laugh because she was saying wild stuff. I should have just told me that when my dog died and I was saying serious stuff, she was laughing. So I guess I can understand sometimes when you be serious, maybe you get a little funny. But they and
Whoa! Hold it!
but I wanted you to double down on that point, because don't not hear that, don't miss that, don't let that pass you. They tell the story they want to tell. Those facial expressions don't be coming out of people's behind, y'all. It be because somebody just said something. Every time they said Serena went on for 45 minutes and they had to stop looking at each other. We over here mad at Rob because what you looking like that for? She didn't say nothing untrue. He's trying to maintain his seriousness and not laugh because she's really over here wilding. They tell the story they want to tell. Every time. Don't miss that.
And at this point, we have come to a place where they're telling the story at the expense of the black people in the villa. Like from 2 nights ago to last night. Last night was a freaking mess. It was a mess. Down to like we ended up realizing that Ace was trying to defend Amaya at the end. But they didn't hesitate to throw in that he had something to say about the babe situation. And Amaya's crying, boo-hooing the whole time. They did not hesitate to throw in the facial expressions that Shelly was having whenever Huda was speaking. They did not hesitate to throw in the fact that Alondria dropped that Huda kissed Chris outside of a challenge in the speakeasy. All the things. But they intentionally set it up that apparently, because this is what America's saying, like we've been assessing TikTok videos, just hearing other people's perspectives. They wanted them to look like the Mean Girls, and Sierra included. I've been hearing that people think that Sierra is fake, playing in the shadows, things like that. Again, all have to do with the edit, right? And it looks like Huda has come out as the victim yet again. So again, what Shooter was saying before, all them first episodes, Huda's excused. Cause now we got Mean Girls, and my problem is, and I think this is another part where it goes deeper. My problem is that the minute that they want to portray the black women as the Mean Girls, it sticks. People are ready to sign off on Shelly ain't touching my money, Alondra ain't touching my money, yada yada yada. They being off Ace, and again, I'm upset with Taylor, my personal self. So whatever. But point is, people buy in. They just waiting on a reason. And you said it earlier today, I believe. Shelly ain't raised her voice one time. Huda is out here calling a man a B, a P word, A word, B word, doing a lot. But we're ready to go ahead and accept the tears that she keep crying as if she really means
From
something on
across
the.
the villa, while the mean girls of today were consoling her. From across the villa. Listening, y'all, not even just yelling, y'all lying. She went and eavesdropped on the boys' conversations and went to them girls and lied. She just lied again when Shelly said to her, I don't want to talk to you tonight because I don't want to say nothing bad. She
Mm-hmm.
went to she said she don't want to talk. She just doesn't want to talk. That's not what she said. You lying.
Whoever would
She said, I'm
listen,
not going
she
to
would
talk to you
tell.
tonight. Yeah, like, and we let her lie. But Shelly can't be just a little perturbed. She can't be annoyed tonight. Whether you feel like her reason is justified or not. Was Huda's?
Right.
It was Amaya. Huda went back to Amaya saying Shelly doesn't want to talk to her. And Amaya said, like, she doesn't want to talk to you at all. And Huda said, yeah, that was a lie. Shelly made a whole, like, she made her boundaries clear. I don't want to talk to you tonight because I don't want to say anything out of anger. Okay, love you. Love you too, girl. Shelly said love you
All of
too.
that.
But
All of that happened.
that gets a pass. And I get it because America as a whole is not the biggest fans of truth. So if you don't stand for truth, I guess you don't really have a problem with lies. But that was just a lie, guys. Like what?
Did y'all
And y'all
hear my shudder? If you don't stand for truth, then I guess I guess you don't have a problem with lies. Girl, that's a word. That'll preach.
well, that is what's going on, and it's quite unfortunate, but it really grinds my gears that those are the things that we can accept, but we can't accept Shelly looking at somebody like this. We can't accept Shelly's mini crash out. We can't accept Shelly maybe being a little wrong in the situation, not taking account. And you know what? And those are the things that we can handle in house. What Ace and Shelly got going on, okay, we can talk about that. It's when we bring in the she can't touch my money that
Right.
bothers me. That's what bothers me because I'm with you when you're right. I don't agree with everything Shelly's done in the last 2 days, but I'm not
Right.
canceling her because of it. She has not yelled at Ace. She has not called him out of his name. Like, anyway, muting myself now.
No, but that's where we want to go. Like, I have lots of thoughts. Actually, I might post a separate video just, and that really ain't all my thoughts, but I have lots of thoughts about the Huda Shelly situation. But beyond that, we're not even speaking about Huda tonight. We don't have to speak about Huda tonight. What we're talking about is the experience of black people on reality TV, how well the culture has been presented, and all the things, right? So I do want to talk a little bit about where accountability can be dished when it comes to the problems that we've experienced or that we have witnessed rather on the show from last night and the night before last. So that kind of includes Ace and Shelly. That also would include the Alondria Clark Taylor situation, because that was a full mess. But anyway, I'll let you go first.
Now, when it comes to the Alandria, Taylor, and Clark, you probably gonna have to tell me everything that happened because I couldn't really stomach it. I didn't watch all of that part.
Okay, so Alondria goes up first, and she's the person who gets the cards. She's got one card from Clark, and Clark has said something about feeling some type of way about Alondria calling them a test. So she and Clark had some dialogue. She explained what she meant by that. Da 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 da. But again, this is after Shelly. This is after Huda. I think Alondria was already kind of here. So she was very respectful or whatever to Clark. She didn't call her out her name. She wasn't rude to her or nothing like that. She just explained what she meant by the test. And I think that what she said tracks. Like, she been one of the main ones. You gotta test it. You gotta test it. Go
I
ahead.
do want to say, I just want to put out there that she didn't, just like a chat, she didn't make that up. And it kind of perturbed me a little bit when I watched the After Sun last week. And it was after Clark said for the first time she didn't like being called a test. Ariana Maddox said, I mean, it's not really a test because people aren't tests. But Ariana Maddox is, and she might have a script, whatever, but I'm just saying, she brought the word test into the villa as far as I know. When it came to last season, we have to test relationships. Like, test is a part of the vocabulary. So it's not like Alendria made that word up for somebody to be offended by. It's a part of the Love Island vernacular, just like a chat. She's not the first person to say it. They said it all through last season. Like, you tested it. You did it. I mean, like, stop playing. Now, maybe y'all have a problem with her calling Clark a test as in a noun, but that, I mean, I didn't like that Ariana Maddox had said that, because she be saying that. She be saying that that's what we're here to do. Test connections. And how else do you test them in Love Island other than with another person? Let's
It
chill.
kind of becomes an expected thing. Like, something gonna come in to kind of draw your partner's attention away from you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say Alondria didn't make that up. So, I mean, Clark can feel a way about it. I probably wouldn't enjoy it. And I agree with what Clark said, too, because I did watch that part. I realized I came in late, blah, 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 but I'm a person. Like, I like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like being, I can understand that, but I'm just saying Alandria did not create that word, and she don't necessarily need to feel bad about saying it.
You're right. Right.
And the Maddox didn't have to do the most in the After Sun talking about some people aren't tests, because she only said it because Alandria said it.
Right. Right. And so, that's kind of where that ended. But again, Alondra was already kind of here. She kept it cute with Clark. Like I said, with no disrespect, nothing like that. But Taylor went after Lord. There were, I think, at least 3 cards that they read. One of them was on some how you and Alondra end up broken up after 3 weeks whenever you and Clark only had 3 days. And his response was, Clark gave me a different feeling. And immediately, Alondra popping off. How old are you? Well, pause. He was like, that little kid feeling whenever you like somebody. Da, da, da. Alondra says, how old are you? And he was like, 25. Then he said, I can't have a feeling? I can't feel like a kid? And she was like, oh, yeah, whatever. And so then he continued to explain. He closed that up. Somebody else asked him a question. This one, oh no, this one came from Alondria. Stop acting like a little bee and stand on business. I think she said, stand on business and stop acting like a little bee. Something like that. And then she has her moment. Her moment included going off about how if she moved like Taylor moved, then she would have been sent home. She was on some, I reassure this man every single effing day. Like, I've asked him a million times, like, what do you need from me? What do you need from this connection? Etc. Etc. He didn't say nothing. Like, she was upset. She expressed that she was angry. Even down to Taylor having said to her the night before, talking about how he didn't do the most with her in the challenge because he wanted to take into consideration Clark's feelings. And she was like, you never consider my feelings one day in this villa. Particularly, I think she said in a challenge. Never one day. So long story short with that was a laundry moment where she kind of blacked on him, and then he responded with some, you wanted me to move like I'm in the villa for you, but I'm in the villa for me. And that was kind of the close out of that. It was not a kind exchange whatsoever. The third question that he got was from another person, and it was Taylor, make up your mind. The third letter he got, Taylor, make up your mind. Pick and make up your mind, something like that. Y'all want me to make up my mind? I pick Clark. The episode ends.
And what was the question?
The question was when we think about like the conflict between the people on the show, that's Ace and Shelly, and where they stand right now versus and rather than versus Clark, Taylor, Alandria. Who needs to take accountability? Who like what's your position on the conflict one, and then who needs to take accountability two, which kind of goes with that. But yeah, like I think we could stop it right there. What's your position? Who needs to take accountability? Just essentially, what's your thoughts?
My position on the conflict with, I'll speak about Ace and Shelly first. My position on the conflict is very disheartening. I'm one of those people who, once I'm locked in, ain't no switching up. And from the point that Ace walked in and Shelly said, "Oh my God, this is crazy. This can't be real life," I wanted them to be coupled up. So it is disheartening. It is unfortunate that they are not seeing eye to eye on this issue. I think that they have had some really cute moments together. This is their first, this is not really their first conflict. This is their first conflict where Ace is offended. I think that they've had conflicts before, but Shelly moved with grace in those conflicts. I don't think Shelly appreciated him choosing Amaya. It was the first time we kind of saw her get a little bit booked when she said, he said, "You want me to give you a checklist on how to date Ace. And what you think I'm going to do with that?" Be like, "Yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this." I'm not looking to be the perfect girl from Ace. I'm Shelly. And if Shelly and Ace click, Shelly and Ace click. That was a conflict. But she moved with grace and not crashing out on him. She just moved with, "I'm going to focus on the connection I have with the man who wants me." The second conflict was him turning his head to Iris. She moved with grace. She's not crashing out on him. She's not doing things like that. The difference with this conflict is, number one, that Ace is offended. Ace is not happy with the fact that she has another guy in her view. And not just that she has another guy, but she has another guy that he feels threatened by, because he wasn't threatened by Austin. He knew, like we knew, that wasn't going to be a thing. And so he can call that friendly competition. He tried to call this one friendly competition, but it's only friendly if she's giving me more. She clearly has a twinkle in her eye when Chris walks by. She likes Chris. And so she feels something when she looks at Chris. And so Ace was the one offended in this situation, and we've seen Ace annoyed before, and so he do want to talk about it. And we've seen him argue and get frustrated before. He's not the type who's going to yell with you. If you're gonna do that, he gonna kind of shut down. That's what he did with Amaya, and it's kind of what he did with Shelly. With Shelly, never yelled, but she got kind of like this and talking like this. If you do it like that, he kind of like shut down a little bit, and her response to that was, "Okay, we'll talk later." And it was just unfortunate because I wish she had I wish she was I'm a black girl who was raised by an amazing father, and I have great uncles, I have a great brother, and I love my mama. Let's make that clear. But I am very partial to the men in my life. I love black men so much. They make me happy. They make me so happy. And so, just like last season when I was mad at Cordell and Casa, but the second he's sorry, I'm like, "Serena, stop being mean to him right now. You better not put that breakfast on him." I was kind of like that at the point that Ace decided he wanted to lock in. Shelly, stop playing. For real. Like that. That's how I feel. And so I wanted her to be a little more empathetic when they were sitting in Soul Ties talking. But you could see, and from what they showed us, you can see that they are missing each other. And Ace verbalizes it like, are we not, like, am I not getting it? Like, what is she talking about? They were missing each other's points. And they still haven't connected. Like, they still don't got each other's points even now. And Ace wants to understand. We are seeing Ace like somebody, because even in their conflicts, he's bringing her flowers. I think it's funny that he done start bringing her flowers. She told Chris that she loves flowers. He talking about Shelly flowers, and now Ace bringing flowers every morning. We seeing how Ace is when he likes
These are orchids. These are
everybody.
orchids.
Everybody want to say that Ace and Shelly are a scam, but I really don't get how y'all get that, because they established from the moment they saw each other that they knew each other. They're not lying to y'all. If he got the people he was teaching the dance class to say Happy Valentine's Day to Shelly on Zoom, y'all, he was spending his Valentine's Day teaching people in Pakistan how to dance. He wasn't spending it with Shelly. They don't go together. He said it on a Zoom call. And that's a cute gesture from across the country. Like, because they met in January and they were attracted to each other. But nothing came of it, and that's fine. Like, they commented on each other's pictures sometimes. Y'all want to say it is scamming. I say they met each other. They liked each other when they met each other. And they fell off because of distance, and now they're back in the same space, so they're exploring it in a real way. But my position on the conflict is that it's just unfortunate. When it comes to accountability, I do think that Shelly can stand to take some of that. He said that he felt her doubling back to kiss Chris a second time was intentional, and she was trying to say that it wasn't. I do agree with Ace that she's an intentional person, and so I do think that that was intentional, and she did kind of tell on herself a little bit when she said she saw him going down the line, and so she did what she had to do or whatever. But I think she can take accountability in that. And really, what Ace needs, and what I do think at this point, I think Shelly can afford to give him. Because I didn't really want her to give it to him at first, because he took her kind of through the ringer with his Dorothy Explorer stuff. He wants, or he needs, he can afford. I feel like he is granted or warranted a little bit of what Cordell had to do. I want you. I do. Like, she just gotta say it. I like you, Ace. I like you, Ace. He could get that. And I think because she likes being doted on, and who doesn't? And I when I tell you, I've been liking Shelly from the beginning because I identify with her in a couple of ways. And one of those ways is I do think I'm the prize, and you do need to do something. You do. I'm not gonna make you breakfast. Why would I do that? I make great breakfast, and once I feel like we locked in, you'll get breakfast all the time. But not in the villa. I'm not making you breakfast. You make me breakfast. I'm not going to steal these people flowers for you. You're gonna do it for me. I agree with that. I like that. But she can afford to take a little bit of accountability in how she made him feel, because he's expressing how she made him feel, and she continues to talk about what he needs to do better, how he needs to moving forward. Even with Serena and Cordell, when they had their conflict, Cordell was in the wrong for exploring disrespectfully. But once they came back together, Serena said, I take accountability for not showing you and expressing to you how much I like you up until this point. That's something I could have did better with. She said it to her girls. I just feel like I didn't do the best job of showing him I like him. That's accountability, which I identify with Serena in that way. Wasn't easy for her to say. She not the most expressive type of girly, but she did that because she likes the man. She liked him. And if Shelly likes Ace and not just the idea of Ace, not just being doted on and having breakfast guaranteed in the morning, she can stand to stretch a little bit. That's my position on Ace and Shelly.
Facts. Major facts. And I'm very much a person who is like, think about the end goal. Cause I'm also a person who's for proving a point. Serena was pissed for quite some time in that villa. But at the end of the day, she wanted the man. And he a person. And it's like, to consider the entire picture, she was woman enough and humble enough to say he should have known that I was locked in on him long before the day before they went to Casa. And I thank God that it worked out for them, that she ended up telling him how she felt the night before Casa. Because he did have that to consider and like to come back to. Like, it was at least expressed. But after all the ways that he kind of ended up with her cheeks to kiss, in a sense, it was like she was woman enough to speak up and say, you know what? He should have known before this time. And end goal, I want him. So we finna lock in. Like, and respectfully, Cordell came with the same kind of energy. Like, you know, I love to mop them. I do. I do. My boy did. He felt the same way.
Serena, I
I do.
do. That's the last one.
I'm
That's a good
trying to
one.
tell you that I want you. Like, I want you. Like, it's you, girl. Period. And at the end of the day, I think that Shelly definitely do need to think end game. Do you want the man or do you want to keep playing? And you know, that has been my thing with Shelly for the longest. Is she playing the game or is she trying to get love? Like, I've
And
loved her. Go ahead.
that playing the game thing never really, because I don't think she's playing the game. What I do think is that she, in her heart of hearts, believes that she is the prize. And so you got to, you got to earn me. Like, you just got to. And she likes being wanted. And I can identify with that. And so, but what can happen with being wanted sometimes, what can happen in leaning too much into the feeling that you get from being wanted, you can focus on that instead of focusing on the person who's wanting you. And I think that it's possible that she got kind of caught up in the feeling that she gets from getting the breakfast every morning, the feeling that she gets from being pulled from the chat with the other guy because you can't stand to see me talking to him for 30 seconds. And that's not to say that she doesn't like him, but I just think that, I think the same way people get accustomed to talking to who they talk to every day, I think she got accustomed to being doted on by him. But also, he did have her messed up a little bit, and so you're always on. And Shelly is a person. Now, I'll give you this with playing the game. Shelly has always been on because Shelly has never let us see her break a sweat over him choosing somebody that wasn't her. Ever. She's never let us see her sweat. From the moment he said Amaya, she grabbing Austin knee. I mean, I'm just happy, you know? When Ulissa stole him, I mean, maybe this is a sign. Like, she's been on, but it's like, if you know, you know she won't ace, you know? But she's never really let us see her sweat when it comes to that. But she felt the way, for sure. Even, it's one time where she eating them pancakes and sitting and talking to him. At one point, she said she feels better. And I honestly feel like what he said before that, I think he was talking about physical intimacy at the right time. I don't think that we got that conversation in full context. I think she felt better because he was assuring her about all this exploring he was doing. She felt better about the conversation that they had that I feel like we just weren't privy to. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I don't like playing the game. I feel like she's always been on, but I don't think that she is playing the game in a let me try to win type of way. I think she's enjoying her time there, and I think she wants to be spoiled.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
And
just
that's
a
fair.
girl.
That's fair, really. I don't think that she playing the game in terms of I want to win the money. But am I enjoying the fact that another bombshell can come in here tomorrow and I'm sure he gonna want me, or he might want me, and if he do, then I'm gonna explore that connection type. Like that's the kind of
But
thing that
I
I'm.
explore that connection because Ace is exploring everybody, and she has said that a few times this episode. You were the one who said this, and so I said I'm gonna do it. Now I'm gonna do it too, and the connection was formed. And she said it twice in a way that lets you know that her willingness to explore is because he made it clear that that's what I'm doing. She said,
Mm-hmm.
"You're the one who said we're doing this," and so
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm doing it, it's a problem. I feel like she liked Ace. She wanted to kind of, whatever with Ace. She even said that during her after sun with him that she was a little blown about it, but she glad that it took time because blah blah blah. But I think that she liked Ace, but she also likes being treated like she's squishy, and he always has treated her like he's squishy, but he has made it clear that I'm going to explore people, and he's never cared about necessarily how she feels about it. And so I do believe her when she say he made that clear to me, you made that clear to me, and so I'm going to do it. And so and she, again, I think it's also a part of the never let them see you sweat thing. Y'all think I'm finna let America see me not do challenges and not, like, enjoy the experience when this man is like, he's sitting over here talking about he could be falling for Iris? Like, I don't know.
And today I defend the black woman. I really do. I also, though, at this point, just feel like both of them could take a spoonful of humility. Um, and that's where accountability is dished on my part. As far as Ace and Shelly goes, like stop trying to prove your point, because I think Ace lost Shelly at the point where he started to try to defend his actions because of what she did within the challenge. Like the more honest thing is that Ace kisses everybody in every challenge. That's actually more honest. What else is honest about that? So does Shelly. However, in this challenge, based off of perception, we only see her kiss Chris and Sierra. That's a lot. And he said that it was a lot. And I give him that. Like I respect his feelings in that. Go ahead.
Was also they both kissed during each challenge. The other thing with that is that they both, with this show, you kind of, a part of the reason I used to like this show is because they do their confessionals Love Island season 1 style in the moment. I love that. I want to know how you feel about it right now. I don't want to know how you feel about it after everything's done 6 months later and they called you in to do a confessional day. No. So after the challenge, they in the confessional laughing, having a good time. I don't know what she had going over there. He don't need to know what I had going on over there. That type of ordeal. When it came to what they did, the truth is they didn't really have a problem with it. They was cool because it's a challenge. Now, I think Ace could have possibly felt some type of way with her doubling back, but also he, in the moment, he was so freaking occupied that who knows. The truth is the offense came when it was Huda and Chris's turn. The offense came when it was Huda and Chris's turn, and so when Shelly decided to be upset about that, I think that at that point Ace said, okay, well then I'ma say this thing. If she could say that to me, I could say this to her. But in the moment, y'all was doing your thug thizzle, laughing about it. Like,
Right. And I think that he took advantage of that because she never expressed from what we saw that she was angry with him about what happened with Huda. She was upset with Huda. But I think he felt some type of way. He wasn't gonna say nothing. And then when she brought that up about Huda doing the most, disrespecting boundaries, this and that and the third, okay, well you did a lot for me too. And Shelly has not been able to hear that to this day. She has not been able to hear that she hurt that man's feelings. She has not been
And
able
that
to hear that. Go ahead.
I said, and that's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. And because honestly, it could be resolved quickly, but because both parties are so committed to their point, they are not coming to a place of reconciliation. And unfortunately, production is harping on that, and they are helping to keep them at odds and helping to keep America cold to them. Like, and that's sad. That's sick and sad. So, to get into Taylor and Clark and Alondria, this honestly could probably be an episode in itself. So, say what you will. If I need to do part two, then I will, and just drop it there. But yeah, who should hold accountability in that situation?
Both of them, all three of them. I'm gonna start with Alondria. I love Alondria so much. I love her so much. Um, I did not want Alondria to give Taylor the power to hurt her feelings again. He already hurt her feelings when he chose Clark. At the point that he chose Clark, let the man go. What did Shelly say? I'm gonna be honest with you, F that man. That's how I feel about it. At the point that he gonna sit up there. And you know what? Going back to Shelly. Shelly, I didn't miss the fact that you knew Chris was staying, so you chose your other man. You thought your girl Huda was choosing him for you. Stop playing with me now. You do need to take some accountability. I love you. I do. But ain't nobody missing that. You keep doggone saying it. You need to stop saying that around Ace. It's mean. But Alandria, stop giving him the power to hurt your feelings. I hated that she decided she wanted to continue to explore him because he has just made it clear. He made it clear when he didn't pull her after the recoupling. They didn't talk that night. He said to his boys the next day, I thought I was gonna be out of this triangle. They said, why are you still in the triangle? He said, because Alandria is still here. He wanted her out the villa. And so I just want Alandria, like she said, she had to be strong all her life, and I get that. Be strong now and let the man go. Stop telling him how you feel. And that's, I don't know if that's toxic or what, but I stand on that, y'all. I will stop talking to somebody if I think they feel like they finna stop talking to me first. What? Child boo. I'm already left. Like you don't even know me or have my number. Like we never met. So I'm not a fan of that. Taylor, and I've been saying this since Clark entered the picture. I can't fault anyone for liking someone. He likes her, and that's fine. But the way he has handled this has been terrible. Alandria did not like Jalen more than she liked Taylor. So that was a thing. But also, Alandria was not going to leave Taylor vulnerable. Like, and she says too that she at some point said, and I thought she was waking up at that point, that he was willing to leave her vulnerable when he stood up for Sierra. I just, and black women are different. Like we just loyal to the soil. So I feel like she's hurt because he was so ready and willing to just be done with her, and she wasn't that way toward him. And Taylor is wrong for the way that he is treating her, because I'm not faulting Taylor for liking Clark. I am faulting Taylor for disregarding Alandria's feelings completely, like she did something to him. And men do that once they find something else they like. Like Taylor, Alandria didn't do nothing for you to be stomping on her feelings like this. And that's what I don't respect. Like, don't go out of your way to hurt someone's feelings. You can't fault someone for liking someone. I would have respected Taylor more if he just went to her and was honest and ended the connection there. But be respectful, because she saved you. You remember when you was sleeping in that, you called it a sofa, and now that's where Alandria is sleeping? and she hugging you and kissing you in the photo booth and reassuring, like, she cared about your feelings. And you start liking another girl, and her feelings just go out, like, they go out of your brain. You don't care anymore because you have who you want. Clark, I'm rooting for everybody black, but I did not care for when Alandria and Nick said good morning Islanders and surprised everybody to say that they were still in the villa, and then Clark went to her friends like good morning Islanders. I didn't care for it. I've had bullies before, y'all. I don't like mean girl energy at all. I only like it when it's warranted. Like, I can be mean, but if I'm being mean, you totally deserve it. You know? But being mean for the sake of being mean, I hate it so much. I hate it so much, and I'm not calling her, I don't know her. I'm not calling her a mean girl, but I didn't care for that moment. It didn't give me the best vibes. So, I think she can, the same way Alandria took accountability for making her feel a way about the word test, she can take accountability for not being the nicest when Alandria first got back into the villa. And Taylor can take accountability for being a DICK, just being rude to Alandria for no reason and being dishonest. You were not clear. But the truth is, from the moment you met Clark, I wrote it in one of my books. What did Faye say? Faye says something about Desi. He looked in her eyes and he just knew what his future was. That's how Taylor feel about Clark. And that's fine if that's how you truly feel. That's fine if that's how you feel. Your feelings are valid. I'm not forcing nobody to like anybody. But that doesn't mean don't care about someone else's feelings, because Alandria has done nothing to you but save you from an elimination. She ain't did nothing to you for you to talk to her like that.
Yeah, he honestly is hell on wheels. He pissed me off real bad because it's like you're not even looking like the gentleman that she has revered you as all this time. And it's like she justified in being angry because you don't tell the whole truth. Like I didn't agree with her showing her cards per se, but I understand and I empathize with the fact that she was angry and she had stuff she wanted to say. I don't think she should have let her guard down for a second to let the people know or let him know how she was truly feeling. However, all her feelings are justified to the extent that he did not tell her the truth. And I don't appreciate that from him. I really don't like how sassy he got in the response, because he could have responded with humility then, because he honestly deserved what she said, even though I don't agree with it happening on the camera. He deserved what she said. However, dude, to literally respond to her with some book in your throat, like a little bit of toot on you, now you're sassy. And I don't understand that. I was really pissed by that actually, because dude, just be a man about it. And if you was that from the get and told Alondra when you decided to couple up with Clark, I don't want to explore this connection any further, then whatever she do at that point is on her. And now I'm gonna come into her because I definitely want to be gentle with her because I respect her and I honor her feelings. But I want to speak to black women and all women really right now. If you think you supposed to be the one to put the work in for that man, and you think that is going to be the thing that earns you his loyalty, I want you to be delivered. I want you to be free right here, right now, in this moment, because men gonna do what they do. And I only got experience with black men, and I know this: when you make that route easy for them to get to you, put that work in, like Alondra kept saying, think that time gonna earn you something. They're gonna benefit from everything that you put out up to the point that you end up shattered. It never fails. I've never seen one situation where putting the work in left somebody in a healthy relationship. You might end up with the man, but is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be healthy? Is it gonna be an iron sharpening iron type situation, or you bring out the best in me, you help me to become a better person type of situation? Is it going to be a healthy situation? I've never seen that. I'm 30 years old, never seen that. Sorry.
Oh God. You just said something that was gonna make me say something. The man need to love you a little more. Period. He need to love you a little more than you love him, because one thing about it, two things we show: when a black woman love a man, it be like otherworldly. So if he love you a little more than that, symbiosis. He got to love you a little more. If you putting in work on day 10 of knowing each other, girl, leave him today. You don't put in work until 2 years in. I'm just kidding.
Of a marriage? Are you kidding? But I will say, nah, all jokes aside, real talk. Putting in work in the dating phase, I don't believe in that. And I'm sorry. Like, and actually, I'm not sorry. I'm going to just keep it a whole stack. I feel as passionately about Huda as I do, because I know that she's suffering from something that she does not understand. And what she suffers from, I have experienced as a victim. And I have zero tolerance for the foolery. I have zero tolerance for the mind games. I have zero tolerance for the manipulation and the gaslighting and all the things that come from people saying things and not meaning them. And what I do know about God, and what I feel like Alondria even knows, because the signs were there. We saw them. I know she saw them. From the time that she was in that villa, in that bed with Nick, they say good morning Islanders, and Taylor jumps over her to greet Nick. She knew. She saw them sleeping in that bed together, and Taylor looked happy as a lark. But when it was confirmed, or when it should have been confirmed for her, and I know she felt it in her spirit, because I feel like the Lord has favored women with that thing that we sometimes betray. We feel it. We know whenever something ain't right. And if you betray that, that's on you. But if he's giving it to you, and this is me even ministering to myself in this season, he's giving it to me, I'm not gonna betray it anymore. I'm not gonna betray that voice anymore. Now, she knew when he jumped over her in that bed, and he did not talk to her. He didn't even talk to her in the next day in that villa. I believe, and I gotta go back to see, but I'm pretty sure she ended up pulling him for a chat the first time that they had a conversation. I don't even think that he did it. She did it. So to go on carrying like a man don't know how to be a man, because one thing about it, in a country man for sure, they know how to be a man. They know how to do right by a woman. Every man know how to step up in the best way that he know how for a woman.
Every black man, little mama, know how to treat somebody.
Exactly. Exactly. And Alondria, the signs were there that that's not your strongest connection. Just from the fact that he no longer even wanted to speak to you. Down to the fact that he
He did not.
recoupled with somebody. Go ahead.
He didn't pull her after that recoupling either. Like,
He
they
didn't
didn't
even
talk
talk to
after the
you.
recoupling.
He didn't talk
He
to
does
you
not
whenever
want to
he
continue
left
his
you
foolishness.
vulnerable. He didn't feel like he warranted a conversation of honesty before he made his decision. And he knew what decision he was going to make. His confessional told us, I know what I'm about to do tonight, and I'm standing 10 toes behind it. Like, he already knew. So while his mouth keep telling you, yeah, I want to continue to explore this connection because you offered it up, everything else around it is saying he's done. And it's at that point that I want women to be empowered to say, that's your loss, my boy. But bet though, and walk away. Because that moment and that fire pit might have happened when Alondria got out of that villa and around people that love her and care about her, and it's warranted. If she felt like that, she wanted to get it off her chest, I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with it happening on TV, in that villa, in front of that man, because he didn't deserve that. Because she knew. And that's where I mean, he honestly just affirmed everything that I had said from the beginning. I never trusted that he liked her for real. And the minute that a different option and a better option for him presented itself in that villa, he did not mind to leave her vulnerable. But he was not man enough to say that. I hold him accountable for that, but I hold her accountable for the fact that she acted like she needed him to say it for it to be true. Because that ain't the case. We never do. We never needed that. You are the prize, Bookie. Friend, sister that's watching this. Thank you. I got one more question
Girl,
then.
you are literally surprised. Megan Thee Stallion wants to know your body secrets. And have you ever seen Megan Thee Stallion's body? You are so surprised. Alandria is gorgeous. And that's, I'm not coming for Taylor. I don't want his family coming for me. But Alandria is beautiful. I don't know what Taylor is. But y'all gonna stop playing with my girl. She is literally beautiful. Like her features, I was looking at her features, her eyes, her nose. Like she's put together. God put her together nicely. Beautiful chocolate queen.
And she got to know
Walking
that.
that girl.
She did not need Taylor, the one man that she ended up with some kind of a connection with in that villa, to tell her that. And I genuinely hope and pray and I truly feel like when she comes out that villa and realize that it's a life outside of that little Hunger Game, she gonna be like, bro, what was I doing? Now it hurt right now.
Yeah, that's so real too.
Yeah.
You even outside of bubbles, sometimes you can be with a person for so many years and feel like there are no other options. One of the best ways to describe it is if you've ever watched the Nexium documentary, one of the ladies talking on it, she was telling another lady what she had endured, and the lady was like, girl, this crazy. And so at that point it was kind of registering to her like, yeah, I be doing this stuff because I'm in this organization, but it is crazy. And then so she said, so I asked her, I was like, what do we do? And the girl said, we leave. And she said, and all of a sudden a option was open to me, like that is something I can do. I can leave. And so it, a lot of times people in relationships don't even, it doesn't register that it's an option to leave. Like, I have to be with this person and nobody, like, what else is there, you know? And it's like, honey, that's not your mama, that's not your daddy, that is not your Siamese twin. You could just leave. And one thing about Alandria, and I hate that her exposing the kiss with Chris Dem has y'all trying to cancel her too. And there's this page on Instagram that does stats for everybody. Keeps up with the stats of how many followers everybody on the show is gaining, how many they're losing. Huda has gained so many followers since last night, and I think Alandria and Shelly lost like 50,000 followers on Instagram according to this page, and I think it's really unfortunate, but there's no doubt that there is a man in this world who seen that lady and said, yeah, I want that, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get that right there. And when she comes across that man, her whole life gonna be different. But she and I think her time on the villa, it is time for her to leave the villa, just because I think it's time for her to straighten her crown a little bit, remember who she is. And I was looking at pictures of her from her last Tuskegee homecoming. Alicia is a baddie. Like, girl, if you don't come home and get it together, you never needed Taylor. Ever.
Nah, seriously. I just clicked on her Instagram. The Google search said she had 608,000. But when I clicked on her page, she had 555. What I hate about him, what I feel, I
I
agree.
am following that page, but I'll send it to you. It's a page that'll tell you exactly how many she lost today. It's like Love Island updates or something. Or
I
stats.
genuinely grieve knowing that there are people in our country who are snowed over. Some people convinced and they are bought into being manipulated, and I can't. It's just like I got Trump supporters, I got Drake fans, and now I got people who don't want to be put on to the effects of narcissism. I can't do it. I can't argue with y'all. I can't be y'all friend either. It just is what it is. So, and I mean, like I said, I hate how last night played out, and I don't agree with every action of every black person on the show. Who that is?
Cordell just reposted this that say, wrap this season up and just give Serena and Cordell the money again. Bye.
I know
And
that's
then
right.
somebody reposted. Cordell reposted it, and the other person said, "No, for real, Serena Cordell, please come get this money so we could go."
Because I'm
Ain't
done.
nobody got time to
Absolutely
give my
fed
people
up.
this money.
And
They
honestly,
the only ones who can.
I had one more question, and I do think it's a question worthy of being asked, but I do want to talk about Serena and Cordell. Maybe that's for another episode. Yeah, I think we'll save them. We'll save them for another episode. But to
That
close
can
it
be
out,
for another episode because it makes me happier. Because
yeah.
honestly, I'm gonna tell y'all now, I'm done watching this show. Shooter probably gonna come back on Eminem's. To clarify, this is Shooter's segment on the Shooters Network. This is my Shooters segment, and so she probably gonna be back. She needs to be back on here to talk about this. I'm not sure that I'm gonna be doing this, but tag me back in for Serena. Yeah.
Right, facts. So the question is, in terms of going deeper, what is the goal that people, that production, that white America honestly meets whenever they chop and screw and undermine the black love experience and how it can be depicted on TV?
Hunger Games, the first movie. President Snow as Seneca Crane. Y'all probably think the Shooters are just nerdy poos. Let me tell you something. We watched I love the Hunger Games. Shooter watched it and she read the books. But we love Harry Potter, Twilight. I mean, we're layered. But um President Snow as Seneca Crane, who was the game maker at that time. Why do we have a winner? Excuse me? Why do we have a winner? Like, if we just wanted to deter them from having an uprising, why? What, we can just round up 24 people at random and execute them right now. So why do we have a winner? He says it's to give them hope. A little bit of hope is effective. Too much hope, no. You have to contain the hope. And I think that Kendrick Lamar said it at the Grammys, and he was talking about hip hop in
My
particular.
God.
He was talking about hip hop in particular, but he said it's nothing more powerful than hip hop. We are the culture. It's been here. It's staying here. And that's his lane. So that's what he's speaking to. But just black culture and hip hop is a big part of black culture. So valid. But black culture in general is so powerful. And everybody sees it and everybody knows it. Everybody wants a piece of it. They all want a piece of it. You look at these people. And I love them. I love season 6 cast. Go look at Liv's TikTok. Liv loves rap music. Do y'all know that she says her queen, the celebrity that she just loves so much, is Stunner Girl? And she's not an American, but she's white. And same thing with Kayla. Kayla loves her some rap music. But black culture is so powerful, it's so potent, and everybody wants a piece so bad, and everybody wants to be a part, wants to be invited to the cookout so bad. But then there's that thing that makes them jealous that they couldn't do it. It's that thing that makes them jealous that even though they took the best parts of the animals, we were still able to make this food that tastes so good. Like, how do we do that with the nastiest parts of the cows and all the other animals that make food?
And the collard
um
greens. The whole reason we eat
Collard
greens.
greens. It's like, how did they do that? How do they do that? it's amazing. It's awe-inspiring, and they love it. And they want it. They want to copy it. They want to duplicate it. And you can't really do that without seeing it. So you got to show it. Like, it has to be there. You got to put it in there. Like, what did we used to call it? Token black girl. My mama will always point them out in random things. It's always a token black girl on the whitest dance team. It's always a token black boy on the whitest basketball team. Like, type stuff. It's like you need it there. It needs to be there to show that you cool, because we set the standard for cool, you know. But it not too much though.
And
Like,
not racist.
we needed enough to copy it. We needed enough to get the people going. It's provocative. It gets the people going. We needed to show it enough to get the people going, but not enough to where they forget who runs the world, who runs the show, who runs the villa. Like, a little bit of black is effective, but too much causes a problem. They need to contain it. They have to contain it, because when you don't, you end up with Cordell and Serena running the world. They still getting Love Island themed sponsorships, you know? And it's like, with President Snow, he couldn't kill Katniss and Peter that year because they cracked the code and the public loved them. They can't kill Serena and Cordell. You can't do it, because there would be an uprising. But we're not finna let that we're not finna keep doing that though. Make no mistake about it. Y'all love Shelly a little bit too much. Let's, do what we need to do here. But I don't remember the question, but yeah.
No, you
A little
answered
bit
it. The question was, what goal is met when the black love experience is undermined and chopped and screwed? And I definitely think you answered it. I would take it another layer further to say that, you remember when I wrote my oratory as Miss Clark Atlanta? When I don't know if you weren't able to go. You was online for a spell, so I don't know if you was able to go to my pageant. But I wrote my oratory about just the long reaches of slavery and the psychological effects of slavery, and how and I broke down the relationships, like how women were more or less groomed to be self-sufficient and to be on the I don't need no man type stuff from days of slavery, because they had witnessed their husbands, partners, father of their children, leader of their household slaughtered and murdered before them, or were raped in front of them. And I did take it there in my oratory because it was the point I was trying to make. And the same being true, or something like the same being true for black men, and how slavery and the effects of slavery kind of cultivated a man who would not be present in the home. Because what do you do when your innate nature is to protect and defend, and you get ready to raise your voice about how a slave owner is treating your wife or treating your child, and they assault your wife in front of you, or they hang your offspring, or they do something gruesome to you in front of them. But like the idea was to break them in such a way that they will never stand again. And the attacks that they experienced absolutely were attacks that were meant to destroy the construct of family. And who ordained the construct of family? Nobody but God. And it's like, we miss that, I think, when we get so caught up in who likes me, how many women can I get, or how many men can I get, and da 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 da. I say that about us within the culture, but for them on that TV, them people who are driving the narrative, that these people can't get along. They don't even like each other for real. Like keeping, and even down, we'll talk about Serena Cordell another time, but even down to when he was taking accountability for things that other people in the villa did not agree with. And he was defending Serena. Like, these are things that they didn't want shown on TV. Why? What benefit is there in that?
And show they didn't show it. But what ended up cracking through, and while we knew he wasn't up there listening to it, what they couldn't do is find one piece of footage where he affirmed anything any of them boys was saying when they was down talking. What they decided not to do was put in any of his defense, but they couldn't skew that. They were Katniss and Peter.
And that season, I think we end up, I mean, the more we talk about it in analytical terms, or just from an analytical place, that season shows the power of Black love. That season shows the, like, potency of it. It's far reaching, it's encouraging, it's inspiring. And God forbid that there be more people in the world that want to be in love and that want to be selfish with their person. Because Serena Cordell talk about it all the time. I don't share. Like, Serena Cosmo interview, I don't share my man, and he responded, I don't want to be shared. Like, it's me and her. Period. God forbid that Black people and young Black people be influenced by people who stand on business about their person, who lock in, be loyal, who want to build and restore the construct of family that was ordained and designed by God. God forbid that happen. And it's unfortunate that there has been enough context for production to play with and manipulate to tell an unfortunate story for those characters that's on season right now. But they didn't get that victory with Serena and Cordell. And I think we got to be careful not to give them that victory, because we know how it go. We play a game. Black people play a long game from birth to life. I mean, birth to death. If we Black and American. And if you Black in America. Even if you ain't from here. If you over here. We play a long game until Jesus come back, apparently. And when we got an opportunity, I don't know. We can't squander it. I hate how the cast has been treated as of late. But I am grateful that they had this opportunity. And I pray that they pull it together before they get sent home.
And you know what? And I've been wrestling with that because I'm not watching that anymore. I'm done with it. It's too much on me. Yeah, I'm too Black. Like, I can't. But and I feel too much. But I would love for them to do it again. I felt like certain cast members had the potential to do what happened last season again. But much like President Snow, Katniss and Peter won that doggone game, and that man said, I'm putting every single solitary victor who has ever won, I'm putting them all back in there to show you that even the strongest can't beat me. He decided to eliminate every victor after they cracked the code. That's what's happening on Love Island right now. They are eliminating every victor, y'all. Every person who we started out loving. Shelly was the people's princess. Alendria was the ultimate girl's girl. Taylor was like the sweetie pie. It's literally Hunger Games too, and that's crazy. But it's so funny that we keep bringing that movie up in this episode. But they're not letting it. They're not trying to run it back. They're not, and they're not going to.
Right.
They're not going to. Mind y'all, this show has been going on for years. Love Island UK had just had its 11 season. Now it's in its 12th. This is season 7. This show has been going on for years without the bulk of the culture being tuned in. I know some black people say that they've been day ones, and that's fine. Toot your horn, honey. But this show has been going on for years without us, and I think they prefer it that way, honestly. I think they appreciate them views, and so they are now trying to work out the kinks of how do we get it a little bit more culture without letting them run us, because we still are presidents now. Like, we still in control.
And that's a whole point that we could talk about next episode too, because why is it that they feel like they can draw black people in with mess? This been mess from the get. And a little like we're invested, I think, because we desire the love story. Why do they I mean, we at the point I feel like we have to boycott. Like, we have to at this point. But it's more people who are saying them folks ain't touching my money than it is saying that I'm watching this show who keeps trying to hoe us on as a culture when it comes to love and when it comes to relationships. I don't like it.
Right. Drama is not like, and I have done my research, y'all. Love Island, their views started skyrocketing last year when Cordell them came back from Casa. And y'all be saying was cinema. That was cinema. Ain't nothing on this season been cinematic. It's been toxic. It's been heartbreaking. Cinema was on that dock. To what? Say sorry? That's cinema. That was cinema. Okay? All
You
like
weren't sorry you were dry
there.
humping in the bed. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. That was cinema. And that is when those views start pouring in. And that is what made them say, we have to bring these people to New York for a reunion. Like, the people are loving this. It gets the people going. That is why they have Beyond the Villa coming out July 11th. And ain't nobody gonna tell me it's because everybody just loved Kayla and Aaron. Sorry. And Taylor, love you, Pooh. You're so cute. But you're not finna convince me that we have Beyond the Villa because Liv was just the most liked person in the villa, because Rob was just everything. We got Beyond the Villa because, to what? Say sorry? We got Beyond the Villa because PPG up in this thing. We got Beyond the Villa because if he comes back in here with somebody, hold my mic. We got Beyond the Villa because of the culture.
And
Because of
never
skin
forget.
folk. And that, make
I'm
no
trying to
mistake about it.
I'm trying to tell you, like, I want you. I want you. Never forget I do. Serena, I do.
And
Like,
literally, he say that twice. He say it on the dock, and he say it when they sitting on that little thing. And I don't remember which one it is. But he do the I do twice. Serena, I do. He did. Like, stop playing with me.
that's what we want.
And they tried to get us to not pay attention to them so bad. It was America who said, why his hair keep being freshly braided. Serena doing his hair. Why y'all not showing us that? So they show a little 2 seconds of it. It was America. It was the culture saying stop
And the
playing with us
culture
because
really
we know.
the culture really chose them as the winners because it wasn't because we had hella like evidence of their connection. And they speak to that even outside the villa. Like,
We,
they didn't show this, they didn't show that, da da da. But we bought in from what we saw because it was real. And not only that, we
every little
just
thing
go
we
hard.
saw was good.
You said it. We hold the power. So now y'all want the views, but y'all also got our people in the villa going nuts. Like, them folks gonna need therapy for quite some time. When they get home,
They have thrown the victors into the arena. and they
Yeah,
are slaughtering
they
them.
finna have
Do you
PTSD.
know how thick that is? President Snow said, he said a little hope was effective. So you can win, and if you win, you're going to be rich for the rest of your life. So you depressed, you distraught, you don't even have doctors in your city. Like, you ain't got no therapist, but at least you got the solace of knowing that's just an experience that I've been through, and at least I'm not going to starve to death. I'm going to just, But no, I'm 80 years old, and I got to go back into the arena just because he said so.
Mind you, don't
That's
forget that he even tortured them to the point that you got to mentor people until somebody else win. So you can watch people
You
die
got to go back every year. Every year.
every
And
year.
he tells them, this is so that y'all remember that even the strongest of you can't defeat the capital. Like, this show is the Hunger Games. And we've been saying that since we started watching it, but it truly is the Hunger Games.
And
And it
so,
truly is the Truman Show.
and so it's the world we live in. And with that being said, this is episode 2 of M&M's. Uses and mugs. We'll catch y'all next time. This has been sweet. It's been fun. You had the Shooters, baby. We outside.